In this episode, it's finally the day I reach Alaska after driving and solo camping across Canada in 5 days out of my SUV. And it didn't go exactly as expected. I don't have service and this is freaking me out. But let's get to that later. If you're new here, I'm Kate, and I left for Alaska from Seattle, living out of my Mazda CX-50 the day after my pet rabbit passed. What started as a grief bucket list trip quickly turned into the trip of a lifetime. Previously, you saw me drive through BC and accomplish 3 of my goals, where I found grizzlies, visited a glacier, and saw the northern lights. I also explored the mountains and foliage, camped at a couple campgrounds, and battled food poisoning, all in the span of 4 days. On the way to Alaska today, I go to my first national park in the Yukon, travel through the Tundra, and get to see some wildlife. In the last episode of this series, I have 2 goals left. Let's see if I can achieve them.
This way and this way.
Like it hurt, but it also was like numbing feeling. So when I got out of the water and they pulled me into the boat on your own, and then like
No, my cousin. Oh my goodness me!
Because it's different views, obviously.
on top of the chocolate and graham cracker, chocolate with another graham cracker. Oh, of course, yes.
Good morning, guys. I took a much needed break from filming last night. I still don't feel well. It was kind of a rough night. My stomach hurt really bad, so it was hard for me to sleep. So I don't think I'm out of the woods yet, but I'm feeling good enough to go to Alaska today. And I'm so excited to see bald eagles and grizzlies. It's a beautiful morning. I woke up and it was pouring rain, but the campsite was just gorgeous. So that made everything a little bit better. And now I'm on the highway to Alaska. Yay! Let's go! So today, to get to Alaska, I'm on the Alaska Highway. Makes sense. And this highway is so gorgeous. I've been saying that every day about every highway, but it's true. And the fall foliage is starting to peak. I just pulled over at the most beautiful pull-off. There's this gorgeous pond. There are signs that there are caribou everywhere. I was really hoping I would see one, but I think my hours are just not aligned with the caribou. It's kind of the middle of the day. It's 10 a.m. I was also hoping I would see a moose, but there's kind of some sort of dam there. I think maybe a beaver is there, unless it's just debris. I'm really enjoying this highway. It's just so scenic, and once again, I'm probably going to be really late today, but how could I not with all of these gorgeous views that I need to stop and admire? Alright, it started to rain again, and it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit. It's really feeling like fall, and oh my god, I'm just pulling up to a cloud inversion. Oh my gosh. in Haines Junction now, still in the Yukon. I believe this town is the gateway to Kluane National Park, and you can take helicopter flights or airplane flights to go see the glacier. I think it's home to Mount Logan, which is the second tallest peak in North America. But yeah, just stop for gas. Now I am a pretty quick drive to where I wanted to stop. Okay, yeah, I think this highway is pretty remote because I just saw a sign that said the next fuel is 203 kilometers from here, which is a long time. That's over 100 miles for sure. This landscape is stunning in the rain. It's so moody and fall, and I just want to get cozy by a fire. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Ooh, okay, I just entered some dense fog. It's really low visibility. It's really difficult to see right now. I'm going less than 40 miles an hour. We're at 2,500 feet of elevation. So the clouds are really low today, as we saw with the cloud immersion, but yeah, I can only see maybe 25 yards in front of me or so. The sun came out. This is my first national park in Canada. I've never been to a Canadian national park, so that's really exciting. And I'm just passing through. I'm like barely scratching the surface of this national park because I think for a lot of it you have to fly in. I don't think it's accessible by road, but at least along this highway I'm getting to see a little bit of Kluane National Park, which is really cool. Apparently grayling and lake trout spawn here, so there's a lot of fishermen here. Yeah, it's so peaceful. The Yukon here is stunning. The mountains here are so gorgeous. I love the fall foliage so much, especially the little red plants on the ground, and then the yellow aspens and birches. I can't even imagine what this place will look like in even just a week. Oh my god. This trip has involved a lot of sitting and driving, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I also love hiking and backpacking. Something I love about hiking is feeling connected to nature and feeling the ground beneath me, and my Vivos help me do that. These are the Tracker Leather AT boots by Vivo Barefoot. These shoes allow me to feel the terrain and feel even closer to nature. I have high arches and a weak soleus from an injury from a few years ago, so flat shoes are usually uncomfortable, but these not only fit like a glove, but they're comfortable and they don't cause me any pain. And even though they're barefoot shoes, they still provide traction, which is crucial in the wet Pacific Northwest and in colder temperatures. The natural fit allows your foot to engage with the terrain, which provides better balance and stability. These shoes allow you to flex and grip as nature intended, providing enhanced mobility and foot strength. By feeling the trail under me, my awareness and movement quality have improved. These shoes are also lightweight and minimal. I love the simplicity. There's less of a barrier between you and the earth. I also love that they're sustainable with a nature-inspired design, so they're built for the outdoors and respectful of it. They even offer a 100-day free trial so you can try them out yourself. If you want to experience nature the way it was intended, go to vivobarefoot.com and use code KATEVENTURES for 20% off your order. I just got out to film a little bit and it is cold. Cold, windy, and rainy. It's raining while the sun is out. I love when that happens. These mountains and the clouds are so gorgeous, and a bald eagle just flew by. Oh my gosh, there's just views everywhere. There's a marsh I'm passing right now. This is actually incredible. This trip has been so amazing. I can't believe I just saw a bald eagle cross the highway. It was pretty high, but still. And all of these clouds, yeah, it's still sunny. That's so cool. These mountains are just so beautiful, so majestic. Also, yeah, this entire trip, basically, I've been at 2,000 to 2,500 feet of elevation. Canada really designed its highways well to stay at the same elevation. I've seen like one car every 20 minutes. This highway is so empty. It's so remote. Wow. I feel like the more remote it is, the more gorgeous it gets because humans haven't ruined it. Just kidding. But wow. Okay, the wind here is so strong that it's causing my car to sway. So I'm having to drive slow. It's kind of crazy. Oh my gosh, the rain is really coming down. This highway is so gorgeous. And I guess I reached the highway summit apparently, which is really cool. That was awesome. And now I'm really close to the US border, so fingers crossed that this time the border crossing goes smoother than last time. I just crossed the border and my hands are shaking because I was so scared. They told me to pull over and they kept me at the facility just waiting for, let me see. I was there for like 45 minutes. They searched the car, or they said they were going to search the car. When I got back to the car, there wasn't really any signs of someone searching it, just a little bit. They asked me for my social media, they pulled up my YouTube channel, they looked through my videos. I don't know what they were looking for, but I'm glad that they let me through. Honestly, like the whole time my hands were shaking. I was just a little worried about how long I might be at the facility. But fingers crossed that this time the border crossing goes smoother than last time. Holy cow, you can't see it. Oh. Okay, yes, border crossing. Okay, that border crossing was so simple. He just asked me what I'm doing, where I'm going, asked me what I do for work, and then let me through. Yay! I'm in Alaska! Oh my gosh! I'm so happy right now. I made it! This has been a dream of mine for so long. I don't care that it's pouring rain. I am just so excited to be here. I'm in Alaska! I did it! My heart is so full right now. I'm back in the US! Okay, I can't cuss on YouTube. It's crazy how fast the landscape changed from the Yukon to Alaska. It feels like an entirely different biome already. Just almost instantly, it's crazy. Wow. is a bald eagle preserve, but I don't see any eagles right now. Do you see this wind? Holy hell. Oh my gosh. This wind is insane. I actually cannot go over 45 miles an hour or my car starts going with the wind. This is kind of scary, honestly. It's really storming out. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my god. Oh my god, you can see the spray coming off the river. This wind is so powerful. What the heck? It's really beautiful though. Despite it being scary, this gray sand in the river, it's beautiful. Oh my god. My car, I'm at 0 miles an hour and my car is shaking. This is freaking scary. I pulled over on the side of the road in a less windy spot, but I don't have service and this is freaking me out. Like, I've never driven in wind this strong before. And it's really scaring me. Here in this spot I'm fine, but in the other spot where I was just parked, I was parked and the wind was just blowing my car. Like, it's freaking me out because this entire highway is just along this massive river. And there are signs, risk of landslide, rock slide and all of that. And it's just proximity wise very close to this raging river. And so it's freaking me out. And the things that I had planned to do here were basically to go down to the river and watch grizzlies. But there is no way, I cannot even step out of my car without getting blown over. If grizzlies are out eating fish, I'm not even gonna want to go observe them because this is just insane and I can't check the weather. I don't have service. I could with my Garmin actually. Let me see. Is it gonna be this bad in the Yukon also? Because am I just gonna screw myself by going back? But if I drive back into the Yukon with this strong wind, at least I'm not beside this giant river. I don't know what to do right now. Do you hear that? That's literally the wind. That's not a car or anything. I do not feel okay continuing. All I was gonna do was go along the river and the river is a no-go, so. Okay, I'm looking at the weather for the Yukon right now and it looks decent. So I'm just gonna turn around. Sorry guys, I drove to Alaska and then I'm just immediately turning around, but I didn't know the weather was gonna be this bad. I saw it was gonna rain here and I'm fine with rain, but it's insane. So I'm just gonna turn around. Alrighty, let's go. Oh my god. I didn't get a chance to film it, but I just drove by a tree that fell down on the lane that I was coming down that wasn't there not 15 minutes ago. That's crazy. I'm so glad no one got hit by the tree. This is stressing me out. Does Haines, Alaska always have this bad weather? I assume it doesn't, but this feels like a bomb cyclone. What a bomb cyclone usually is in Washington State or California. I grew up in the South where we get hurricanes. This feels like a hurricane. This is stressing me out. But at least now, driving back up north, I think I'm going into the wind, like with the wind, so it's a little less stressful. I don't feel the wind rocking my car as much as it was. I think heading south, I was going in kind of crosswind a little bit, and for some reason north I'm not. I don't know. I just know my car isn't rocking as much anymore. I just saw a bald eagle. I just saw multiple bald eagles. I couldn't get them all on camera because my long lens are moving too fast, but I did get the one on the camera. That was so cool. They're so big and majestic. The storm kind of calmed down this far north and it looks like they're coming out to fish. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. At least I was able to see something in Alaska while I was here for my quick few hours. I've seen grizzlies already, so it's okay that I'm not seeing grizzlies again, but I haven't seen a bald eagle like that up close before. I've only seen one a couple times before. Once while camping at Olympic National Park in one of my videos, but I wasn't quick enough to capture it and I didn't have my long lens on me. And then the other time was just around Seattle. Wow, it was really cool to see them in their natural habitat though, in an area that has very few people. Awesome. Okay, well, that makes me feel better. I accomplished something today. Not that the rest of the day was a waste. That was a beautiful drive and I'm so happy I did this, but I kind of felt a little disappointed that I was coming to Alaska and not really seeing anything, so I'm glad I saw something and I could show you guys, even though just coming to Alaska felt like an accomplishment itself, and I kind of checked that off my bucket list. But now I want to drive to northern Alaska sometime in the future. Can't this winter probably, but one day I will return to Alaska and explore more of northern Alaska and the Arctic and more of Canada for sure. Alrighty, I'm officially back in Canada. That was the easiest border crossing so far. That Canadian border agent was really nice. I love when Canadians have Canadian accents. It's so endearing. After the first border crossing, I just got so nervous, but those last two border crossings made me feel a little bit better. Alright, just doing the same drive back to camp now. If I wanted, I could just stop at whatever campground's on the way. I just kind of want to be close to Whitehorse because I want to try some coffee there in the morning, because tomorrow is when I officially head back down to Washington State. So it's going to be a long drive the next 2 days and it'll be purely driving, so I just want to have a good start to the return journey. My stomach still feels really weird. Something's definitely wrong. So I kind of want to be close to town just in case I need to go to the pharmacy or something. I hope you enjoyed my adventures from today and from this entire trip, crossing south to North Canada, crossing all of British Columbia, into the Yukon, and into Alaska. I've had so much fun. This has been a trip of a lifetime. The main purpose of this trip also was to help process my grief, and I definitely feel like I'm moving through the grief a little better. This is what I needed to get through the grief at this point in time. I think it definitely helped. What a week it's been. I've had the highest highs and the lowest lows. I hope you've enjoyed coming on this journey with me because I've learned a lot. I've experienced a lot. It has definitely been the trip of a lifetime and something I've been wanting to cross off my bucket list for so long. I'm passing through this beautiful park again. I think this is my favorite landscape I've seen so far in the Yukon. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten lunch today, so I was planning on getting a big dinner once I get to Whitehorse. But if I'm like tummy sick, do you think that's a bad idea? I guess I'll find out. I'm just so happy I made it to Alaska. Oh my gosh. Yay. Alright, I am almost back to Whitehorse. I'm a little over an hour out. I think I'm gonna grab a burger and fries, just something quick. I am feeling a little better. I'm not completely out of the woods, but I do feel better now than I did this morning. And then I need to figure out where to camp tonight because I'm not sure where I want to. I need to check the weather once I get to Whitehorse. Oh my god, okay. I just got service and I was able to check the weather for Haines, Alaska, and to see what the heck was going on. There's a high wind warning with gusts of up to 70 miles per hour, and it was supposed to last through 7 p.m., which is way later than I intended to stay there, so yeah, I would have kind of been screwed. And it says they expect power outages / objects on the road and travel will be difficult is what it said. And so I'm really glad I turned around because, I mean, I assume I probably couldn't have seen grizzlies anyways. I doubt grizzlies were out in that weather. That was really scary wind. It felt like my car could blow over. Wow, it only took 6 days, but I finally hit 28 miles per gallon. I'm gonna miss this daylight when I get home. Right now it's almost 8 p.m. and it's still... the sun isn't setting yet. I just learned the Yukon has wild horses around Whitehorse, which now I understand the name. Apparently these wild horses have been around since the gold rush, and they just live out here and they're adapted to the environment and the weather, and that's so cool. They were so beautiful. The sun is setting and all the animals are out. I just passed an elk herd, which I've seen before, but always majestic. I just grabbed a quick burger at A&W, which I've never tried, but I've seen it all over Canada. I've seen it around the US too, but they're not as common in the US, but it smells good. I'm just in the parking lot eating because I'm starving right now. It is pretty late actually. It's past 9 p.m., which is usually my dinner time. I've become such a night owl lately, but I think after I eat, I might try to go chase the aurora. I'm gonna look up a map and see where it might be visible, and if I have to drive a couple hours out, I'm kind of mentally prepared to do that. I really want to try to see the aurora again. That's good. That's a good onion ring. All right, next fry test. These are a little old, but I can tell when they're fresh, they're good. They're thick, they're not too salty. I can taste actual potato. They're like not too fried. I like them. Actually, they could use a little more salt, but not bad. Wait, that's really good. It's thick. It's not that cardboardy texture at some places, you know. The lettuce is crunchy. The bun is really important for me. It could be a little more crispy, but overall really good. This is exactly what I wanted tonight. I was really hungry today. Good job, A&W. I'm a fan. All right, friends. This is the aurora map of where you can likely see it, and looks like we won't be seeing an aurora tonight. That's okay. Maybe tomorrow night, but it's 10 p.m. and I'm exhausted, and clearly I'm not going to make it to a campground tonight. I see a bunch of people camping, stealth camping in their cars in the parking lot of Real Canadian Superstore, which I assume is like a Walmart. I don't know, I'm just assuming based on how it looks. It has the same font as Costco, which is interesting. So I could stay here. So once again, it's another night of stealth camping, which is totally fine. It's kind of fun because people don't know you're just chilling and watching movies in your vehicle. Tomorrow's a big day. I'm starting the drive home. I'm gonna try to get to the campground that I saw the Northern Lights at because that was an amazing campground and I want to camp there again. I'm gonna try to book it down the highway tomorrow and try to get there by tomorrow night. I'm gonna go to bed. Gotta do the turtle spin to get into place. This foot is really comfy though. Good night. While I was only in Alaska for a very short few hours and barely scratched the surface of all the adventures I want to do across this spectacular state, I still felt a sense of pride and accomplishment that I decided to embark on this adventure only 6 days beforehand, by myself, in the midst of grief, and achieved one of my life's biggest goals of driving to Alaska. And the journey itself was a trip of a lifetime. While I had 5 goals when I set out on this trip, I think achieving 4 is an excellent accomplishment. I'll find that moose eventually. And by saying all this, I don't mean that to brag, but rather to convey how grateful I am for this life I live. I know I'm incredibly fortunate to have had this opportunity, and I learned so much. First, I learned to better trust myself. While I knew in my head I'd be okay with time, in the midst of all this grief, at first it felt impossible to believe. But as you saw, I had one of the best days of my life only 2 days after matcha passed, which I never thought would be possible. Second, I learned that allowing yourself to live your life doesn't mean you're forgetting those you've lost. Feeling joy at first felt like a huge betrayal to my pets. I felt angry. How dare I be happy after they're gone? I felt compelled to just wallow in my grief forever, to feel closer to them, to honor their memory. Moving on felt wrong. But I learned that doesn't help anyone. And allowing a little life and joy back in is what they would have wanted for me, and a kindness to myself that I wasn't granting. This trip was calling to me, and I'm glad I was kind enough to myself to go through with it and let it help me move through my grief with more ease. Third, I learned that the loss I felt in my heart would always be there, but that maybe its intensity would come in waves. At first big and smaller with time. That maybe it was like a frequent visitor. Maybe in 30 years they'll come back, but by then they'll be familiar. And I'll know just how to sit with them and handle their company. I also learned that the grief I felt was a reflection of how much love I had for them. It's easy to think through all the what ifs at the end. What if I had gone to the vet sooner? What if I had done this instead of that? But in reality, we make the best decisions we can with the knowledge we have at the time. And sometimes maybe we need to be kind and remind ourselves of that. I did my best for them, and that's all that matters. Last, I learned that our pets don't replace each other. I was honestly horrified at the thought of getting another pet one day, in fear of replacing the pets I just lost and doing a disservice to their memory. But I learned that love isn't finite. Maybe one day I'll get another pet, and it won't mean the bunnies are forgotten, but rather my love now has another place to go.